Hey guys, Smidge Gambu here. We're 2 weeks into 2026, and I hope we're still locked in to crush this year. Right around now is when people let themselves slink back into old habits or destructive behaviors. We have goals we want to achieve, but find ourselves getting lazy, getting bored, becoming distracted, and losing that spark of motivation, myself included. We promised ourselves it's going to be different this year, feeling that roaring fire surge within us. We chat with our friends at 3 a.m., tell them we'll dominate this year. We'll go to the gym. We'll make more money. We'll give up social media. We'll eat healthier. We'll make our dreams a reality. Unfortunately, like previous years, this becomes a fleeting moment and we land back to square one. The days get tough and stressful. We indulge. We give ourselves a pass. We clock out and feel undeserving towards this change. We think, I already fucked up, so why even bother? We fall back into what we're comfortable with, and all the while, time ticks on with nothing really to show for it. So with this new year, new me hype dying down, I'd like to ask, what direction are we headed towards? In this video, I'd like to share 5 things we could all keep in mind as we aim towards bettering ourselves this year. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not perfect by any means. I falter, I screw up, definitely take the easy way out. But hopefully, this can serve as a proper reminder for us all, and we can get our dreams in motion. Number 1. Approach decisions with a do or do not mindset. It's going to sound obvious, but getting up to actually do the work is the biggest hurdle in the way.
No shit, Sherlock!
Many dreams and ambitions fall to the wayside due to the simple fact that there's a failure to launch. We fail to initiate the process and even show up. A warm bed is going to beat out a morning jog in the cold. Scrolling through mindless reels and TikToks is going to be more comfortable than being bored with your thoughts. Door-dashing slop to your door sounds easier than meal prepping, going to the store, picking out something healthy, and then having to cook it yourself. Because of this, people become very good at rationalizing their behaviors. We'll say, things got too busy, so I had to skip the gym. Well, I had a stressful day at work, so I needed to unwind with something fun. I have no time to cook, so ordering out was the only option. There's nothing inherently wrong with giving yourself the occasional pass. We're all human. At the same time, we can't expect change to come if we don't put in the effort to try. Our excuses can be valid, but they could also be a load of bullshit. What should matter is, are you actively and honestly taking steps towards improving? It's a rough and brutal world out there, with many things stacked against you. But on a fundamental level, you're either showing up to face it, or you're not. You're abstaining from the impulse, or you're feeding it. You're working through the discomfort, or you're running from it. And that ultimately decides how we view ourselves. Perfection isn't always going to follow this mindset, which is fine. But at the very least, it prevents you from lying to yourself. You're either doing what you say you're going to do, or you're not. Treat it as binary and get it going. Number 2. Be selective about who you share your dreams with. Now that you're amped up and ready to put the work in, a natural impulse arises in you. You want to share these dreams with your friends and family. You want to energize, motivate, and include them in that journey towards self-improvement. You want to kickstart the change in not just your life, but the lives of others. You mean well, and you're excited for the future, so why not spread the positivity? However, it's important to realize a cold, simple truth. Some people aren't ready for change. What makes matters worse is that oftentimes it doesn't stop there. People around you, even those you care about, can become disturbed and disrupted by this enthusiasm. Your high energy, positive outlook towards change becomes a reflection of their own inadequacies. Because of this, you begin fostering fear and resentment in their heads, even though you didn't mean to. You're trying to mold yourself into something better, yet this is something unfamiliar to all of you. Each person has a different idea of what lies beyond that door when you cross it. Some are hopeful, some are terrified. In seeing the uncertainty of that prospect, people will naturally try to bring you back towards what is predictable, known, and safe for themselves. This is usually referred to as the crabs in a bucket metaphor. This could be where one person is trying to escape mediocrity for themselves, but the pull of the group becomes too great for them to leave. People end up doing this both consciously and unintentionally. Your aspirations will get made fun of, downplayed, people will discredit you based on your previous attempts, they'll make you second guess yourself, they'll guilt trip you, and they'll even lead you towards the easy way out. Obviously, this is a rough spot to be in and comes across as very vicious. You want to share the joy with everyone, but now you have to do the opposite and even be cautious of your friends. For your own sanity, it becomes crucial to play your cards close to your chest, to work in silence, to play it smart. Human emotion can easily become unpredictable and unhinged, so it serves you well to be mindful of this and avoid the bite of envy. In trying to enter this new you, you're pretty much starting out like a fragile baby bird. Things are unclear and confusing at first, but at least you're giving yourself the opportunity to stumble, learn, and grow. Outside forces will want to pounce on the vulnerability, so it's vital to give yourself a protective layer from that. Don't get me wrong, you could try your odds at showing your hand, but the probability of this backfiring is usually very high. Once again, there are plenty of energy vampires out there who will sap you of your life force just for the opportunity to bring you back to square one. If you end up being lucky enough to have a friend who is on your side 100%, no strings attached, no ulterior motives, then cling on to them for dear life. This brings me into my next point. Number 3, find your accountabilibuddy.
We're just evil and nothing can change us! There's no other way out, Butters! We have to kill ourselves! No! Bradley! You can't leave! You're my accountabilibuddy!
After going through the vetting process, let's say you confide in that best friend and they're optimistic about the goals you have for yourself. Maybe they even get inspired and want to start improving their own lives. The two of you now have to start acting like each other's failsafe for when things get tough. You're on your way towards building discipline and forming constructive habits. Although, along that path, we'll face temptations, we want things to come easy and quick, and we get discouraged or frustrated by not seeing outstanding results. Take a moment to breathe, step away, and bounce some ideas back and forth. Become each other's support system. It's perfectly normal to strategize and adjust. It's even more important to follow through with the plan and act. Develop that why for each other, and the how will soon follow. Anything that's rewarding usually comes with a slow, consistent, and deliberate effort behind it. There's nothing flashy or complicated about it. It's a marathon, not a race. Look, days are gonna suck, things will get dull, life will get overwhelming, your willpower will get drained, and there's going to be pain and sacrifice that comes with all of this. This isn't the bug of the game, this is the feature. And through all of this misery, our time will come to eat the shit sandwich. But, despite the 5-course entree of diarrhea life throws at us, we have that friend there eating alongside us. They understand the struggle and the pain, and it becomes something to bond over. When one falters or stumbles, the other is there to pick them back up. When you feel like retreating, they're there to remind you of why you started this in the first place. To hold you accountable, to keep you true to your word, to make sure you're honest with yourself, to make sure they're honest with themselves. It's never easy, but it's easier with a friend. With that aside, we also need to address the people that may not have this friend. Maybe they're running the game solo, veteran difficulty, all skulls on. This is doable, however, you have to create a system for yourself that serves as this accountabilibuddy. Journal writing would be a great place to start. This can become your personalized progress report as you jot down ideas, what you accomplished, and where you messed up. The key here is maintaining the focus on your goals and exploring the process one step at a time. Number 4, avoid busy work. One behavior that can creep up on us is filling in our limited time with busy work. This is where we replace a primary task with something secondary and less important. The work still needs to get done, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not pushing us towards our lofty goals. For example, maybe we're trying to head over to the gym, but we need to wash some gym clothes beforehand. We start tending to this, but then as we wait, we realize that it'd be smart to cook something for ourselves so it's ready for us once we get back. We focus on the cooking, and then the kitchen becomes messy and needs to get cleaned. We then shift our attention to that. As we're cleaning, maybe a friend you haven't spoken to in a while calls up and you start catching up. Before you know it, time falls from your fingers and the initial plan of going to the gym falls apart. Now, this doesn't mean to neglect those areas of your life, but you have to strike a balance and be methodical about what you spend your time on. There are plenty of distractions throughout the day, and our mind will take the first opportunity it can to take the ball and run with it. Because of this, some may even jump the gun, declare that they have no time for anything, and go back to the pity party of their life not going the way they want. If you want it bad enough, you're going to make the sacrifice for it. What may help is designating a time and place that is solely focused on your main goal, even if it's just for an hour. Let this be the dojo space where you can lock in, concentrate, and put the maximum brain power behind your goal. No distractions, no interruptions. After that hour is up, then tend to the secondary tasks or even take a break. As a bonus, if you still have the energy for it later, come back again for another hour and repeat the process. It'll serve you much better to have small, focused bursts of constructive work as opposed to half-assed, distracted sessions. In the biz, we call this the marginal gain strategy. And if you ever get the chance, I would pick up the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. He goes a lot more in depth about this idea, and I think it's a solid read overall. Number 5. Celebrate your milestones, maintain momentum, and fear disruption. As we've discussed, the journey towards self-improvement isn't going to be perfect. Some days you're going to quit, and other days you're going to knock it out of the park. If you've taken anything from this video, let it be the fact that consistency is king. If we're honest with ourselves, we all start off at a point where our skills are pretty pathetic and ineffective. It's normal to be in this bracket, but it's miserable to stay there. Allow yourself to make those micro adjustments to your life, experiment, and have fun with the learning process. Don't be so down on yourself when you stumble. Pick yourself up and get back to it. As an example, I've been taking kickboxing classes every Saturday for the past year or so. I'm not in a peak physical condition, and I can certainly optimize my routine a bit better. But I've gotten to see cool changes throughout that year, simply because I just kept participating. I'm not gassed when I walk up a flight of stairs. I've put on some more muscle. I've become more flexible and comfortable with my body. And I've been lucky enough to have an instructor to push me through exercises when I wanted to quit. The more you face those dark moments of just you and yourself, the more you call upon that sliver of energy to pull through. That moment of, I know this sucks ass, but I have to see it through till the end. And by the end of it, you're left surprised by what you can manage. To me, that's something worth getting excited about, celebrating, and constantly improves your own self-esteem. The double-edged sword to it all is that it takes just one day to kickstart change in your life, and one day to derail it and fuck it all up. The decision is yours on how you respond to that, and what steps you need to take to redeem yourself. The youngest you're ever gonna be again is right now, so why not start? If this video found its way to you, let me know in the comments if it helped at all. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. Good or bad, won't matter to me. Thank you for sticking it out this long. Let's make 2026 our bitch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.